From Moto Mammy. You're with Julian on the Brown Note. A very quick bit on Ukraine. So I did a whole year of stuff on Ukraine and wasn't quite in step with Western journalism, to be honest, which is slightly changing. I mentioned the last time I did a bit how the cracks were starting to appear a little bit with journalists asking about pumping all this weaponry into Ukraine, if we're actually helping Ukrainians or just fighting a de facto proxy war with Russia that's incredibly dangerous and damaging. Which it is. Now Biden has just been on the ground in Ukraine. I would say that the USA has pretty much taken ownership of this war against Russia. In a 3-month period last year, America poured as much armaments into Ukraine as the entire annual budget of Russia, of their military budget for 1 year. And they poured that in 3 months. And they're still clamoring for more. All of that weaponry is just prolonging the destruction of Ukraine and keeping Ukrainians dying. And we're making out like we're helping them fight this grand war. Not once has the West stood up and asked for the war to end. The Pyrrhic victory at the end of it is what the West wants. It's a very pro-NATO, pro-military industrial complex war. It's giving a lot of the countries that used to be ex-Soviet republics cause to up their investment in mainly American and British military hardware. And now we're talking about China potentially arming Russia. So you've got a de facto war between Russia, China, and America that just did not need to happen. The lead up to the war in Ukraine, I've made so many videos on. But even that aside, the push for peace could have happened very, very easily at the start. It only took a few considerations such as we won't pursue EU membership and we won't install NATO military bases manned by American soldiers on the border of Russia. And it's just never been on the table. So we've now got a situation where America thinks it is weakening Russia by pumping military hardware into, well, I guess we've got probably, 3 or 4 times the annual Russian military budget just coming from America alone. And you've got Germany being press-ganged into pushing tanks in. None of this is helping Ukraine or the Ukrainian people at all. To do what? To watch every last village get razed to the ground. So I think with Biden on the ground in Ukraine, I don't know what's going on there, why he's taken such a colossal, dangerous step. The world was doing all right without massive wars going on all the time. So it's Groundhog Day. We're entering nearly a year of this war and we're in exactly the same place as we were last year. The only people that have suffer with their lives on the ground who are innocent unless you call all soldiers innocent, are the Ukrainian people, and that's not going away. And the likelihood of flare-ups and danger going on is just dramatic. And the likelihood of Putin ending up winning this propaganda war. There's a lot of people in the West now that are very much into their conspiracy theories and so on, who would agree with me about the treatment of Russia here and the West's pumping military hardware into Ukraine and how dangerous and damaging it is. I don't want to be on the same side as these people. I don't agree with these people. But in this instance, you're going to find an awful lot of people using this as a rallying call because they actually just hate either the Democrats in America or Biden, or they're just post-COVID opposing anything that is seen to be big government. It's hugely colossally dangerous. Why we want to be in a situation where China is actually getting involved militarily? At the moment, China hasn't had a bar of anything militarily. And now we're in a situation where, as I've said many times, the EU and America are not the world. The rest of the world isn't as on board this conflict from the Western perspective as we think they are. So I think it's actually more dangerous now, a conflict, than it was a year ago.